My presentation is on Nazi Germany and religious violence, and I am Ty Haney. The event that I will be discussing today is World War II and specifically how Nazi Germany participated in religious violence. The main groups in the violence can be split into aggressors and victims. The aggressors of the violence were the Germans under the Hitler regime. The victims of the religious violence expanded through many groups, the main group being Judaism, and other smaller groups include Christianity and Jehovah's Witnesses. So how did I pick this topic? Well, I learned about this event through many different formats. One of the main ways that I learned about this was through the classes that I took in both high school and college. Also, I've seen many movies that cover this event, including Dunkirk and Oppenheimer, which cover World War II, and Diary of Anne Frank, which covers the exact atrocities of religious violence that I'm talking about today. Finally, I also learned about this event from first-hand stories from my grandparents who were just little kids when this event took place. To provide a brief background on the topic, the Germans were led by the head of the Nazi Party and now the German dictator, Adolf Hitler. Also importantly, World War II started when Germany invaded Poland, leading to a split of the rest of the world into Axis and Allied powers. The Axis powers consisted mainly of Germany, Japan, and Italy, whereas the Allied powers consisted of Russia, France, Britain, and the USA. Now, how did this religious violence start? Well, through the 1930s, Nazis started to spread propaganda promoting Jewish hate, but the main event which started it were the Nuremberg Laws, which strip Jews of citizenship and ban intermarriage with Aryans. After this, during the invasion of Poland, mass shootings of Jewish people began with mobile killing squads, and this was just the tip of the iceberg of the religious violence and the death count that comes in this war. Some of the central themes that are displayed in this instance include war in Israel and Jewish terrorism in Israel. However, most of the main topics like fundamentalism, literalism, and traditionalism are not displayed as much because these killings were more political rather than religious. Some of the similarities to other religious violence events include dehumanization, propaganda, and scapegoating. Dehumanization is very common in many cases of religious violence, where the aggressor portrays the enemy as some human or less than they are. Propaganda is also a huge factor in religious violence, where the aggressor uses media to spread hate and fear against, in this case, the Jewish people. Finally, scapegoating is used in many other events as well, where the aggressor blames the victim for many societal issues. Other religious events that have all of these characteristics include the Armenian genocide and the European witch hunts. Some of the differences between these types of tragic events, though, include the speed/scale, method of killing, reason for targeting, and the legacy. The speed/scale and the killing method during these killings were absolutely crazy. The Germans sadly killed 6 million Jewish people through the 3 to 5 years that these killings took place. They did most of these killings through the use of gas chambers, and compared to other events where the killings were usually much slower and done by mass shootings or burnings. The biggest difference, however, was the reason for targeting. The targeting for this was not even because of the actual religion, but before their quote-unquote biological race. This is because although there was some genuine hate towards the Jewish people, the main goal of the Nazi Party was not to kill as many as possible. Their main goal was to win the war. Also, the legacy that this event left on the world was absolutely massive. Speaking of legacy, what is the outlook for the future? Well, from this event, there was a massive global push for genocide prevention and education. This includes some schools having mandatory teachings of these events and the creating of many important documents like the creation of international human rights frameworks. Also, Germany had to pay reparations and lost the trust of many other countries globally. However, one of the biggest things that came out of this event was the awareness and acknowledgement of anti-Semitism and what needed to be changed in order to protect the Jewish people and the religion. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're able to learn a little bit more about Nazi Germany and their religious violence against the Jewish people.